Hey everyone, welcome to the community stream number 171. Welcome to the stream. As always, I hope that you're doing great and I hope that you can hear me well. We have a lot that we want to share with you today. So let's start with the most important part, making sure that everyone can hear me well, that you can get all the information you will need during today's stream, which will be pretty special because right after the first part of the fight night, so the easy and normal fights, I will show you a long, very long, rather long video of the new UI and go through it with you so that you have all the details. And we're not talking mockups anymore. This is pretty much what is coming to the game and it's coming very very soon now, so I want to be able to share that with you, share all the details with you. So that's for the new UI. For those that don't know what UI means, we're talking about the user interface, and it's also the addition of the battle reports, the all-time stats as well that we will see together. So there are quite a few changes, and of course how can I forget the commanders? So there's a lot of features to unpack today, and we'll go through all of that, including some footage that you've never seen before, obviously. The video we will watch was recorded yesterday on my device. And the reason why I'm not doing it live with you is simply because for the fight nights, I'm always using a dedicated iPad for the stream because it just works better overall for me. And if I wanted to use my personal device for that I have for the test version, I would have to switch the devices back and forth during the stream, which is never that convenient. Uh, Mostly, it would make the air server, as you can see on the top here, um, struggle a bit. So you would have end up with something that would lag a bit more than it should, and that wouldn't be um, the best first introduction to it. So without further ado, I hope that you guys can hear me well, and we will be starting with the easy and normal fight nights. And right after that, we'll watch the video. It's about 5 minutes long, and I will be taking you through all of the different elements during this video. For now, let's kick it with the fight night in the normal and easy mode. First player we'll have today is the Keylogger. We have the Backdoor, Peroki, the Ack, Lude, the Trojan, Ariel, Rosarman, sorry. So we have quite a few players today actually in this category, about 25. So I guess you guys felt like the hardcore one was a bit harder than usual. Okay, let's go with this. There we go. So yeah, today that's the main thing I wanted to talk about with you. It's this new UI and the changes that come with it. I would like to clarify again that this new UI is going to be released in phases. What it means is that the first version we are going to push will not automatically trigger for you. I will show that in the video, but you will have to use your settings to trigger the new UI and switch to the new UI and get used to it. The reason why we're doing this with the first phase is just because this way you have um, it's easier for you guys to accommodate to this new UI, and on our side it's also a safety net because would anything go wrong with the new UI, anything that we didn't foresee, we do not want players to be in a panic mode because they don't know they have to go to the settings to turn it off, etc. Here, since you will have to proactively turn it on for the first week, most likely, it will be a bit safer on our side. And also, we hope that if you have to proactively switch it at first, the people that will do it will also give us more feedback. The second phase will come a bit later on, and in this case, what will happen is that we will trigger it so that everyone has the new UI by default, but can still switch to the old user interface via the settings. And then at a later point, we will fully remove the old user interface, but that might still take a bit of time. It will mostly come once we are completely fine with the new system and making sure that everything is working smoothly and there's nothing to address any bug or any visual small things that we want to address. We'll get through that. There are a few things that we know already we're going to adapt a tiny bit. But yeah, it's been something we've been working on for a while now, pretty much since October, November last year. It was one of the core focus for the team. We had to work on it for many different reasons, but the main reason to change the UI is to refresh the game, give it a more updated look, something that looks a bit closer to what games are usually doing these days in terms of user interface. We didn't change the core elements of the UI, as you will see, so you shouldn't be expecting us to not use the woods texture that is there pretty much everywhere in the game or those kind of things. But we wanted to make sure we fit a bit more with the expectations that the market has, especially because that will allow us to reach out to players that were um, uh, never really got advertised with Battle Legion. So that's really going to be the focus. Getting this new UI will get new players in, also because it comes with new features which were pretty much expected on the market. So more stats, as you will see, we are giving you quite a lot more stats. And also the commander feature is something that we know is going to have a super strong impact on newcomers. For now, on the longer run, it will have a massive impact for you guys, but at first it will mostly be a big change for the newcomers. I can tell you as well that the entire tutorial has been reworked. So once we will fully trigger this new version of the UI to all players, we will also trigger the new tutorial. And the new tutorial is also streamlined to look a bit more like what we see on the market, and also introduces the new elements like the commanders, etc. Hi, Guilherme. Skarsgård. Okay, that's always good to put some name and faces uh, on nicknames that we've seen quite a lot. Actually, you cannot see it here, but because it's the stream day today, I'm actually wearing my CellarDoor t-shirt. It's I don't know if I already said that before, but it's a good friend of mine that knows that professionally I'm using this nickname a lot. And in a secret Santa we had with a small group of friends. She surprised me with this T-shirt. It was kind of a big surprise for me because it's not like people call me this way on a daily basis or whatever. So I was not really expecting it, but it's quite fun for sure. So actually, I can say that even the easy mode is seems like I nailed it a tiny bit more than usual with the army because even if there are some defeats and such, I'm not getting crushed as much as usual, even by players that have higher artifacts. So that's kind of good to see that you know I'm not always bad at picking up the armies. And actually, in the things we'll present to you in a few minutes now, you will see that there are some elements that will actually help me be better with the next fight nights. So that's going to be quite interesting. I also want to add for all of you listening to the stream right now that I was again a bit sick in the past few days. I know that it sounds like I'm saying this every single time we meet this year, but to be honest, that's pretty much the case. This year has been hitting me bad with the flu and COVID and stuff, and it seems like I'm going from one to the other. So I'm still struggling a bit to recover from um, uh, what seems to be COVID. At least some very close uh, people from, well, basically my wife got it, so seems very likely that this is COVID. And it's annoying because I feel like since January, pretty much, I'm permanently sick, and it's not that bad. It's not like pushing me to stay in bed or whatever. But as I keep on saying, you might not hear it because my voice always sounds like I'm sick, but I can hear it in my voice that I'm not exactly speaking as I usually would. So I wanted to mention that just to say I'm sorry if I might sound a tiny bit more nasal than usual, or if I need to drink a bit more often than usual. That's just so that I don't dry out during the stream, basically. Okay, so we are facing Unscorched. We have about 10 players to go. Uh, it sounds almost as if people registered to the easy and normal fight night just to create some anticipation and expectation for the actual reveal of the UI. That's cool. Hey Zoyos, welcome to the stream. Glad to see some familiar faces from Discords to be actually also joining us in the stream. So we are about, I would say, 8 players now. Yeah, about 8 players before the big video reveal. As I was saying earlier, the video is a 5 minutes long video. I'm pretty much going through every single element of the UI, and I will do the voiceover and explaining to you what we are seeing. For those that would be interested, I can tell you that it was not recorded on a super high-end device or whatever. It was recorded on my Oppo. It's I never remember the exact model. Let me recheck that. This way you have all the information, That's so it's an Oppo Find X3 Neo. So it's already like 3-4 years old now. And it was not it's not it's not what we call low-end devices, so it's not an entry level, but it was not either the top of the range when I first got it. So it's a fairly okay device performance wise. I'm saying this just so that you know as well that if you feel like the video is super fluid, it's not I didn't use an extent enhancing kind um, of device there. And on the other way around, if you feel like it lags a tiny bit at times, it's pretty much the device and the recording process. Um, from what I've seen, we are pretty on par with what you see in the stream or stuff like that, where you guys know that basically my device here on my side is actually way more fluid than the. I don't know if you guys can see it, but yeah, it's a lot more fluid on my device than the recorded version, because when you go through the air server and then OBS and then it's um, uh, embedded by YouTube. So it goes through a long process. So it's never that easy to have a perfect performance there, except if you use super high-end devices, and mostly if you use um, computer that we clean to run only that. Which I must say, I have a rather strong uh, gaming PC, but yeah, it's used for other stuffs throughout the week. So it's never really in the state where all the CPU of the computer could be used just for that, sadly. Okay, so we have, I think, about 4 players to go. After that, we still have White Hat, we have Benuzet, we have our lovely DPDR5. I'm gonna call it this way now, or a player that has a name in Russian that I cannot pronounce, or in Cyrillic. Not sure if it's Russian or not. And then we have Monte Cristo. So yeah, that's just a few players going now, and then we'll start. By the way, during the video, if you have any questions, I will answer to them after the video because I might be able. No, actually, I will be able to see the chat. I should be able. I'm gonna open YouTube in a. I should be able to see it. Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. So you can ask your questions during the video. If you feel the need to rewatch the video because there's other questions you had or there's too much going on or whatever, let me know and we can put it in at the end once we are done with the fight night. But since it's 5 minutes long, I won't just launch it just right after because that would be a long 10-minute segment. From what I've seen yesterday as I was recording it, I was able to voice over everything quite smoothly, so I don't think you would be I don't think you'll feel like you're rushing in any way. Also, one thing that I wanted to mention is that today you will see the third commander, which you've never seen so far, and it's by very far my favorite. So I was quite happy to see this design being released. In case you didn't spot it, then so far the three commanders are based on very iconic units of Battle Legion, and in the future, it's not quite clear yet exactly the direction this will take, but it's very likely that there will be some other commanders with other designs coming in. Okay, so if I remember correctly, Monte Cristo is our last player, yes, for this category. So we're getting there. Also, I learned my lesson. This time around, there's no sound for the video, so you don't have the in-game sound. I cut it out so that you can hear me better, because with external sources videos, it was a bit harder to really have the time perfectly set, but also as I was recording on my phone, it included noises like notification noises or stuff like that. And since it's a device that I use for work, I receive a lot of notifications. Okay, so let's do things in order. First of all, let me grant the reward. There we go. Rewards for this. This is done. Then let's prepare already the next fight night. This is ready so that we can start right away. I'm gonna switch the device as well in here. Switch the account, sorry, not the device. Okay. And now, if you guys are ready, we will be able to start pretty much now. Okay, so here we go with the video. So this is your usual loading screen, and this is what it looks like. Obviously, I'm going to close right away those offers. This is what it looks like, and this is the third commander that I like so much. We're going to get through the commanders in a second. This is the UI that you will land on once you trigger it. On the top right corner, you can see your resources. Since you have more and more resources, it's now a menu that will scroll, that will unfold, so it can show you all your resources. I'm struggling to just realize I needed to tap outside of the menu. So yeah, you have your usual stuffs, rewards that you should get. Everything there that I'm showing you is pretty much what you're used to. On this icon on the right, you have the options, so you can see the settings. You can see in the settings there will be an option to go out of the of this UI. It's not there on this test version, but it will be there. So then you have your clans. All of those is pretty much standard to what you're used to. But if you go to Commander, you can see the 3 different commanders, and you can pick the one you want. It's important to note that there's a coming soon here with some spaces for bonuses. That's only to tell you that there's more coming up with the commanders, and we wanted to make sure players are aware of that from the get-go. There's more coming. here you can see your progression. So season pass, pretty much usual. And then if we go to fight, you will end up on the game mode app, where you can see all the different game modes. Since this was a test account and only in rank 2, you don't have all of them, but you can see that the bounty hunter and the skirmish would be up there as well. If an event is not available yet, you have a timer showing you when it will be triggering. You can also still see your profile and your rank progression, but you can also see the checkout events on the left side, and this will lead you right away to the mode that we're talking about. So here it directly led you to the PvP because it's the season event. Here that does not bring you to the bounty hunter or to the skirmish event simply because I don't have access to them yet. In general, for you, when you click on there, you will have access to them. Then you have your news icon, pretty standard as well. And where else will we go right after that? So we are going back to the fight button just to show you how it goes, and mostly to show you that in here now you can see victories. At the bottom right you can see some units that are sold to you, but you can see your all-time victory count. You can see your all-time winning streak, highest winning streak, current winning streak, and you can see as well your all-time losses. Those are new elements we wanted to show you. And there, when you're on the fight, you can click on the battle reports, which is, this is how. Sorry guys, I had to restart my headset. We will go through a few more battle reports anyway. On the battle reports, one thing that is important is that right now it will be showing you the power stones of your opponents. That's something we're just trying out. We'll see if we keep it. It's pretty much a test phase for that because we discussed with different players and there was no clear consensus on whether to show it or not, or partially. So right now they will be shown, but be aware that this is a test and we might not show them. You can also see that you have your upgrades on the right. This will be replaced very soon with a killing count, so showing how many units is killed. And now, the one thing I wanted to show you is that if you're on the auto screen and you open the battle reports, once you close the battle reports, the auto screen keeps going. And if you don't want to have the battle reports, the auto screen will go normally, so after a few seconds, the next fight will start. So that's something I wanted to show you because I know there would be some questions about auto spinning and the battle report, so now you have it. And we're already getting to most of what I wanted to show you. There's one more part we'll come to, so we go back to equip a different commander that's just so that you can see the third one in scale. And I think the last part I will show you is the shop. So right now the shop is really blocky, it's really massive. This will also be adapted a bit more, but we went with what is most commonly known. So if you see the square size are already fitting better, the rectangles are really blocky. We're aware of that. It will be looking better in the future, but we also have to admit that the previous system with the web shop, with the shop, given that it was only a small portion of screen, it was also not that great for visibility. Okay, so first question, Zoyos. Sorry, I had to stay on the screen because otherwise I would have a small delay. I tried with YouTube, but the delay did not allow me that. Why Necro Dragon is a melee unit? Okay, so that has nothing to do with the UI, but that's okay. So why Necro Dragon is a melee unit? So this got changed. It's not exactly a melee unit, and it's not exactly a range unit. The way it was changed was mostly to make it more interesting gameplay wise, but it's true that it's blurring the line. And if you think about it, the breath that they use is both a melee contact and a range kind of strength depending on how far it goes. As far as I understand, what the game team thought about this is that the range it has, the breath, was not so insane that it made sense to only consider it as a range. And since it can also do damage very close to it, right in front of it, they felt like the melee kind of works as well. But it's true that it's a kind of a blurry zone and it's not that clear to understand why it's one way or the other. Welcome, TP. So yeah, you were saying that you like the battle reports. Yeah, it's been something that a lot of players asked us about. I'm starting the fight night as we speak as well with DeadReapingHood first. A lot of players were asking about that. We worked to get this. I think the battle reports is one part where you will see some iterations as we go, because we'll see also what data is the best for players. As I was saying, for example, the levels of the units. Since you can see the icon of the unit with their actual level, doesn't make sense to have this information repeated. So I know that we will be adding already the killing counts, as I was saying. So how many units they killed. The other stats you see on the battle reports are how much damages a unit dealt, um, how much it healed. So the healing includes itself and allies that it might have healed. And what's the one that I'm missing? I'm missing one, I think. I will have to recheck with the video, but I think I'm missing one stat that you can see as well in there. But the hey, Mr. Undercover Anonymous, I remember you. So yeah, I'm don't remember exactly what's the last one that I'm missing right now. We will check that right after. Yeah, I don't know if you have any other remarks, other questions about the UI in general. Two things I wanted to reiterate. First of all, it's going to be deployed in phases. So the first phase, which should come most likely next week, um, means that everyone that has finished the tutorial and is advanced a bit in the game can go to the settings and switch to the new UI. But you won't be on the new UI by default. By default, you will be on the existing one. That will be the first phase. Once we confirm with you guys that there's no problems, no major problem, no bugs, no dead ends that for whatever we didn't see, or a device specific issue or whatever, then we can move to the second phase, which will be we make new UI, the UI by default, and you can still switch back to the old one via the settings. And then there will be the final phase where we say, okay, from now on, everyone is on the new UI and you don't have access to the old UI anymore. For those wondering, the reason why there will be a point where you don't have access to the old UI is simply because there will be features that are not supported by the old UI. For example, battle reports and the new stats that were showing in the PvP fight, those will not be available in the old UI, but only on the new one, because otherwise we kind of need to do the job, the work twice for something that we're going to switch out of. And that would be even more true for future elements that we may have. So if we add a new game mode or something like this, it would be too much work to have it work with the two UI. So only one will get it. It's the new UI. And so soon after the release of the phase two, once we know everything is fine, we'll go to phase three and then force everyone to the new UI. But as you can see, and as I remembered everyone every time, we're not changing anything to the fights themselves. Um, and we don't plan to change the split screen or anything like this. That's the core feature of the game. There's no reason to ever change that. Hey, Guilherme. So yes, Skarsgård. Sorry, keep forgetting the nicknames. You're saying that the new UI is awesome and you're positively surprised. Thank you. You have no idea how long I've been waiting for this to be released, because the first demo we had of the new UI was probably, I think, in late October or November. We had the first rough version of it that was shared with us. And so we already knew, okay, players are going to like it. Most of them, at least. We know when there's a change like this, there's also always a bit of nostalgia that kicks in. So it's never going to be loved by absolutely everyone, but we knew most players would like it. But there were so many small stuffs to correct that every single time we were going into a meeting with the team, we were always like, oh, this is so cool. We're getting so close, but we still need those few persons before we feel ready to release it. So I'm very glad that we're finally uh, fully delivering that to you guys. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Um, and I can say, for example, that for the commanders features for us, it's really just the opening the future to a lot of different things. As I know, some of you might have not seen the last streams. It's not guaranteed yet in which direction we'll go for the bonuses of the commanders, which means if you have suggestions, if you have versions you would prefer, do let us know. What we want is that the commanders are going to grant you bonuses. And what is very likely is that um, we either will allow players to level up the bonuses of each commander, or there will be kind of a skill tree dedicated to each commander. But the idea is that um, picking a commander is gonna help you with specific builds. So that means if you want to use one type of build, you might go more to that commander, and especially combining it with the faction advantages and with the way the artifacts are working now, etc. The idea is that it should make it feel like there are more ways to progress than just one direction and go with it. Um, and at the moment, as I said, it's not clear whether we want to make something era based and have, bonuses that are like power stones and super easy to get. And you're kind of trying to get the best ones every era for your commander, and every era it resets, or if we want permanent bonuses that go with the commanders. One way is also the uh, one way to do it as well is the how do you call it, the skins. We could imagine that it's by putting specific skin on a commander that it acquires specific bonuses, etc. Hey, Yosef, so you're saying that you think we should find a way to calculate better the size of elements. You like the map, but not the commander where carts and wagons are so small. I will be honest with you, the carts and wagons, that's been a real problem for us with this new UI because um, indeed they have a very weird uh, size. And in a way, when you think about it, they were not necessarily making much sense in the old UI either. It's just that we were used to it. But when you see the size of the unit, it must have been super big carts for most of them. But I agree that right now it looks a bit weird. One thing we're thinking about is to make it so that it's not just the logo, but it's an actual, like an icon. So this way it would look better with the rest of the UI. And the other option we're thinking about as well is that right now, when you go to the PvP screen, that's where you can get your auto spin tokens, for example. The auto spin tokens are not on the first the commander screen that you arrive on when you launch the game, because we couldn't fit all of it, and it was just becoming too much. So one thing we could be thinking is to actually have all of those icons directly on the PvP. I mean, they're all there in the PvP screen, so maybe we could just leave them there and players will have access to all of them. But it's true as well that for newcomers, it's cool to have them on the opening um, menu. So that's something we still need um, to look into. But that's very good feedback. To be honest, that's something we also were struggling with to find a good option. So there's definitely ways we could optimize that. I completely agree with you. I think one way to do it is if you look at the PvP screen now, we have added a selection of units that you can, unit shards that you can buy, which are the ones that you have in the shop, but you have them directly in the PvP screen. We could have a similar type of icon with the carts designed in them. So instead of feeling like, oh, it's not the good size, it would be a button or an icon, so it doesn't feel like it's an in-game element, like a part of the decor, so to say, or part of the battlefield, but that it's an actual icon. So yeah, I think there are ways we could work around that, and if that's the direction we want to go, that wouldn't be too hard to do. Cool. You would prefer to have the map and there to be everything and commanders be another window. Yeah, the problem is it's not possible to have the map with everything because right now the map is already quite busy, but we still need to put in the different game modes we want to add. So this map will be getting quite crowded. And if we wanted to have everything on that map, the problem is that we would not be able to have this feeling of massive news, massive events that we really wanted to have because that's kind of the standard now for mobile games is when you launch the game, the first window you're in, it has the key information and they're really visible, really readable because you want to advertise clearly to players that there's an event going on, etc. And the thing is, we cannot have that if we make it on the 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 game mode screen. That being said, maybe one thing we can think about on the longer run is to let you choose between which screen you want to land on, and you could land on the the game mode screen and then go to another one. But I don't think we'll be able to display, like, if you think of all the elements we have on the main UI, you have the cards that you will need to show, the free cards. We have the events. We have one specifically tailored shop offer. We have all of the currencies. We have the settings. We have all the clan and all the other elements in there, and we still have your avatar at at the top, etc. So displaying all of that with the map would not be possible. And if we were to split the information, so I have half of the key things on the map and half of the key things on the main hub, that will probably be a bit confusing for players. But I agree with your feedback regarding the carts and wagons. We can definitely work around that. As for the commanders, I think the main thing as well is that the game never had an actual real game hub. So neither the one on the map or the one with the commander screen. So you're so used to start with the PvP one being there right away. I think the commander ones, it's gonna get better once the commander also get bonuses and you see a benefit in picking one. Because right now you're gonna pick one just because you like the style and it doesn't make any difference. On the longer run, it will make some differences, and we also are definitely hoping to be able to bring some skins or different aspects to the commanders. The screen as well, the background for the commanders is gonna be changed with every era. So if you've seen the previous teasers we had for the previous era, so it didn't look the same at all. In a way, that's the good news with the fact that we did with the Age of Divination is that it had a background that is a bit more fancy. The one for the previous era was a bit bit darker in the mood, so it didn't fit as well to introduce this feature for the first time. But yeah, that's definitely something to get used to for sure. Um, and yeah, we'll look anywhere at stuffs we can still optimize. We'll gather a lot of feedback in the coming weeks. We have also, as I said, a few things that are anywhere already planned to come as feedback. So yeah, so far we're happy with what we've done. We know it's not going to be something that please everyone right from the get go. There will be some small touches we need to go through, and also there will be some people that will prefer another stuff. That's personal preferences. There will also be some that will always be there. That's another thing. Okay. So, guys, I don't know if you have any other questions, any other feedback, any other elements that you would like for us to discuss um, regarding the new UI, or regarding the battle reports, or regarding the commander. If you have some idea of what you would like to see as a bonus system for the commanders, if you have an idea of what you would like to see as stats in the battle reports that is not there, do let us know. That's definitely gonna help us improve on the feature going forward. And the big thing to know as well is that once this is sorted and once this feature is fully released, the next big thing that will come to the game will most likely be a clan wars events. That's going to be the focus of the team finally. So yeah, that's something we're quite hopeful for, to be honest. Okay, so in the meantime, for those of you that will be catching up and checking what's going on with the whole UI, etc., if you want me to reshare it at the end and go through everything again, I can definitely do that. Otherwise, we will probably be sharing anyway. Well, early next week you will have most likely the full announcement with the release. So I'm not going to be teasing much more at this point. The next point will directly be the release. Also, I would like to thank. I think it's, if I remember correctly, I took this. Um, I took this army directly from Ghostin, I think, if I remember correctly today. So yeah, I'm trying to get an army that works a bit better. My winning rate is not that great, but okay, we've seen worse. We've seen worse. So outside of that, coming soon to the game after the full release will be small things for so after the release of the UI and some changes that might come to it, as we were saying. The next thing will probably be one or two very small events that we've been planning for pretty much a year or a year and a half at this point, but that we started to work further on when we started to work on the new UI. So the work shifted to prepare those events for the new UI. So when I say small events, I'm talking about stuff that are not even necessarily going to be um, having some gameplay in there, but just small login um, type of events. So I think there are there's one that is coming that I'm quite sure about, which is what you've seen in pretty much all the mobile games ever, which is a system of a pretty much a wheel of fortune kind of thing. So every day you have a free try to get rewards. If you want to get more tries, you can use gems to go for it. But if you don't, you still get one free reward every day, and yeah, you can get lucky at times. So there will be something like this because that was planned for a very long time. But again, as we said, we prepared it for the new UI. And then after that, it's focused on the clan wars again. So the details will come for that. We're pretty much in a similar situation to where we were with the UI. So now I've been shown some stuff. So I know a bit more about the concept and what is coming in. But it's at the moment it's too early to say too much. Um, but I mean, if you've watched the different streams we've had, you know pretty much the direction we want to go with the clan wars. It's going to be a feature that will expand on. So it will start with something rather simple, most likely, and then we'll expand on it as we go. But at the beginning, it should already be quite interesting and mostly bringing the one element that has been missing in the game for so long. So I'm quite happy to see that coming quite soon to the game as well. Okay, so guys, do you have any other question, any other topic that you would like to cover? Otherwise, on my side, there's not so much else that I can share with you. We shared a fair bit already today, but I don't think there's so much else to share. We have about 40 players still to go, if I think correctly. Yeah, 31, even a bit more than 40. So you have the time to share your feedback. For those that didn't watch it yet, I'm checking when the video started so that I can give you the time to go and watch it again if you want. So, come on. Yeah. So about 17 minutes in into the video, you can watch the 5 minute video about the new UI and everything that it brings up. As I said, it's roughly 5 minutes of me talking as a voiceover on a video I recorded yesterday. That's just so that you guys have an idea of what's going on. And yeah, hopefully you will like it. We are, as we said earlier, we are proud of what we've done with this UI, but we're aware as well that there are still some small stuffs that we need to act on. So we are really willing to get your feedback. And there are some stuffs as well that no matter what will take some getting used to. Some stuffs that are more gonna be down to personal preferences. But there are stuffs that there are some elements of feedback you will bring that I'm sure will be 100% valid. And yeah, if you guys can give us as much feedback as you can on that, that will definitely help us in there. That's uh, that's guaranteed, pretty much. So right now we are with Fatal Farm. We'll have Aldrin 007. I'm trying to see. So today, do we have anyone that never registered newcomers? Now we don't have brand new players, but we have a few that only participated a few times. Oh yes, we have. Sorry, we seem to have one. Let me check that it's not a player that simply mistyped this. I'm checking that it's not a player that mistyped their uh, player name, and that's it. That's a player that mistagged their player tag. That happens a bit too often, folks. Yeah, so I was surprised as well. So that's an account to give you an idea. That's the things I have at times. It's an account from 2020 that never played since 2020 and is registered in the fight night for the first time. It's 100% someone that's misspelled. Um, it's not a big deal. It's just a bit sad because sometimes I feel like, oh yeah, we have a newcomer coming in, and it's an old account that basically got wrongly added. We had a few weeks back, we had a few newcomers that came in, so we do have them. But it's just that on my end, I'm always a bit excited when there's newcomers, so it was a bit surprising, and you want to know how they feel about the game, etc. So yeah, be careful. Mostly, um, be careful about your player tag because that mostly means a player that should have been in the fight night is not going to be there. So maybe they corrected and added their player name afterwards. Let me see if there's anything close to that one. What was the nickname we said? Okay, let me see if I can find it. Hmm. Yeah, I'm not seeing any nicknames, any username, sorry, that's close to that. So I'm not sure how they misspelled this. But yeah, that happens. Not a big deal, not a big deal, obviously. Also, I'm not gonna be pausing the game to take this uh, old account out of the fight night, etc. Because that would waste time for an account that is long inactive anyway. So it's not gonna be a big deal. Plus, it might give me an actual win. So I'm taking that. Okay, so now I can't wait to get some more feedback on Discord and on social media as well about the fight night and mostly about the presentation to the of the commander screen, etc. And I hope that players will like it and give us a lot of feedback because, as I said, that's really the best we can have to progress um, with this UI and make it even better. There are definitely stuffs you can make better. There's always room for improvement anyway. Also, one thing we didn't talk about so far is interactions with the commanders. What I mean by this is that the commander is not meant to be a unit that you see on the field. That's why it's a commander and not a unit. But one thing that we're thinking about at the beginning was to have the commanders show up during 3-2-1 fight or 3-2-1 battle. So maybe they could, just show up on each side of the screen, maybe in a different version, like a different art style. So I'm thinking, make them cartoonish or not cartoonish as in childish, but cartoon as like uh, paper drone kind of design or something like this, or just show them right away, but just have them, you know, maybe one thing we discussed, I think, in a stream was to have each of the commanders on the screen and saying one sentence that the players picked before. So you would see, a comic bubble with the one sentence that your commander is saying to your opponent, and you would pick it among different ones. This way, we make sure it's not inappropriate, but it could make this 3-2-1 battle feel a bit more exciting, and it would give us an opportunity to show off um, to show off your commanders, especially later on if we add skins and such. We know players will want to show off their commanders, and yeah, that's one way we're thinking about it. But if you have any other ideas, any other stuffs, just let us know. So, sorry guys, checking something on the side. A player that contacted us. Still trying to help out whenever I can. Yeah. Okay. So, Narcissus, hey, I feel like you are one of the players that I spot the most when I do the fight nights. You know, when I do the fight nights, because you're in auto spin and it goes on, and I'm trying to talk about a lot of stuffs, cover a lot of ground about the games. I'm not always watching what's going on and who's doing what. You know, I'm not saying it's a good thing, just that this is how it is. And there are some players, like whenever I look at the screen and check the player's name, very often it's the same 4 or 5 players that I land on, and Narcissus is one of them. I can say that in the easy fight, it's almost always Benuzet. Benuzet, I'm not sure why. It's just the way it is. So that's something like this. So we have now about 38 or 37 players to go. We've done half of, a bit more than half of the hardcore advanced fight nights. So after Gorka Morka, we will have Bal, we have TSK, we have Reaper 86, we have Kilran, FedEx, Lazardo, Mador, Destroyer 2, Devastator, Shelias. Yeah, we have quite a few usual names coming in as well. So my winning rate is actually getting quite good. Um, we'll have a bit of fun soon because once this testing account will go to uh, the new UI, which means starting with the next stream, most likely, you guys will be able to see the all-time wins and losses of this account, and we'll see as well the winning streaks, the highest winning streaks. I'm not sure how much this specific account was used in the past because that was one of the many different accounts that Crucible had, and I'm not sure how much this one was used before, so I'm not sure how much I contributed to the total compared to him. Um, but one thing that is for sure is that I contributed a lot more to the losses than to the wins overall. But it will be funny to see as well the streak and where we stand with that. So that's another defeat against PSK. Reaper 86, I have to say, anytime I see this nickname, first thing that comes to mind is the Blue Oyster Cult song and the SNL bit with the more Cobell. Yeah, I yeah, that's basically it. For those that don't know what I'm talking about, yeah, that's an SNL sketch with Will Ferrell, if I remember correctly. Will Ferrell and I forgot his name. Oh, ah, that's okay. That will come back, and it's yeah, it's just something that made me laugh a lot when I first saw it. The only problem is that it's one of those videos because it's SNL. You can hardly find it on YouTube ever. It's always going to be just a small part of it because it's overly protected, which, I get it from SNL side. They want to protect their property, but it's like those sketches that everyone saw 1,000 times and are super old by now. Just put them public, put a big archive there, let people enjoy. It's not like you're going to make money or much money out of this anyway, right? So I'm thinking about that because I'm seeing him on the screen right now. A lot of people have been asking me about Hydro and what is going on with this unit because it's a bit too much, a bit too powerful. I agree. It's a very, very strong and powerful unit. At the moment, it's not too unbalanced because players only have one. They don't have it leveled up that much. It would definitely be a problem if it was getting leveled up a lot more. So you can expect a nerf to Hydro at one point. I don't think it's going to be right from the next season or something like. It will probably take a bit more time, but there will probably be a form of nerf for Hydro. I agree. It seems to be a bit too much at the moment, and yeah, we will have to find a solution for that. Also, if you have some feedback on the placer um, nerf, we went for an actual nerf, and we are planning to get more and more units that will be immune to teleport going forward. So that will be kind of a second layer of nerfing it. Um, but at the moment on our side, there's no plan for more nerfs. If you feel like it's still needed, if you want us to look into it, we can. But yeah, I'm asking for your feedback on that because as of now, there's no plan to have more um, nerf or another layer of nerf for Displacer, mostly because if we still nerfed it a bit too much, it would quickly become too useless. So we kind of need to keep it somehow interesting as well, right? So yeah, that's roughly where we are with it for now. So we are fighting Destroyer 2. Destroyer 2, yeah, we have 27, 26 players now to go. So if you have any more questions, any other topics, anything else that you want to cover, if you didn't see yet the video, as I was saying earlier, it starts roughly 17 minutes in, if I remember correctly, but you can find it quite easily in the stream. And yeah, go for it, have a look, and let us know what you think. Again, we'll be asking for a lot of feedback. Hey, Shelius, you are almost right on time, just a tiny bit in advance. Well, 30 seconds in advance, probably. So it's not that much, but yeah. Did you have the time to watch the video about the new UI yet or not, Shelius? Because we want your feedback. I'm expecting that since you just joined, I guess you will be waiting for your fight first and then checking it. It's, as I was saying, just a few seconds before you joined. It starts roughly 17, 18 minutes into the stream. Yeah, whenever you can, go have a look. It lasts for 5 minutes. We go through every element of the UI. But yeah, you're gonna watch it when you're at work. I hope it's on your way to work, because otherwise I don't want to be responsible for you watching the stream at work. I mean, you can, if you have a type of work where you can do that, that's fine. I just don't want to be blamed for that. All I can say is that my displacer is bigger than yours. My army is getting crushed, but at least that's that. Okay, so now we Putu. Still, I know I say it almost in every stream, but still one of my all-time favorite nickname. Oh, you're the boss, so you can do whatever you want. That's cool. That's a good way to solve the problem. So after Putu, we'll have Simbe, Riondo, we'll have Endanael. I'm not sure I've seen you in a long time in the stream. We have Run 2, we'll have Dark Max, Kerazul, Luis. Oh, I also need to remember that sometimes I just don't recognize the nicknames because maybe they changed recently. I'm so used to the fact that most of you have been using the same nickname or variations of it for a long time that I forget that some players might be also fully changing their nickname, and it might be the reason why I'm not necessarily recognizing them. Let me see. Okay, there are actually quite a lot of accounts with that name, so I'm not sure which one it is. Uh, that's okay. Not really, not really important at the moment. Okay, and that's a victory. That's cool. I do have some victories. Also, I think we have the least amount of latency between my screen and what is shown ever. Actually, yes, the UI update comes with the battle reports and comes with the permanent, the all-time stats as well. So you will have all-time stats available in the PvP screen. So where well, basically the screen on which you usually land when you launch the game. On this screen, you can see your all-time number of victory, losses, your all-time number, highest streak, and your current streak as well. So these will be there. The battle reports will be there as well. For the battle reports, as I was saying during the video, at the beginning, at least for now, as a test, they will be showing the power stones used by your um, opponent. Well, not exactly, because they will be present, but they're not clickable or whatever. So you need to know the icons and to zoom in or have a good knowing of what they are. But yeah, you will be able to see the power stones, and we'll see the feedback we get on that. We pretty much torn 50-50, or I would say 30-30-30 between showing the power stones of your opponent, not showing the power stones of your opponent, or making a feature out of it. So the feature we were thinking about would be something where you can spy an opponent and only get a fraction of the power stones shown. So that's something we're thinking about. This way, we would kind of eat several birds with one stone. We add a new element to the game, which would be the spying. At the same time, we would avoid the situation where players would see all of your power stones after a fight, and we would also encourage players to go and try. So that's one thing we're thinking about. Also, because the reason why we still kind of want to show power stones is that we realize in a lot of test sessions and um, in a lot of the feedback we got from early players that one of the big struggle they have is that they understand how units work with one another. They have a hard time understanding how some power stones entirely change the way you can use a unit, or even worse, how they can change the way you use a combination of units. And of course, that's the strategic element of the game, so it's normal that people struggle a bit. But it seems right now that we have a lot of players that just feel overwhelmed by that, and allowing them to know a bit of the power stones that are used by an opponent that completely destroyed you, for example, even though you have similar level of artifacts, similar units, etc., is something that will help players catch up a bit and understand a bit more what is going on. Again, we also understand players not wanting to have this fully revealed, so we're pretty much done on the topic. We start by showing it because technically that was easier as well, and we wanted the battle reports to be there from the get-go. On the longer run, we'll see with the feedback if we go for another option. Also, with the battle reports, the other point we mentioned earlier is that we will change very soon the levels that are displayed because they're already visible on the unit itself, on the unit icon, and instead we'll show the kill counts for that unit. So how many units of the opponents were killed by these specific units. Hey Zoyas, you're saying that the new interface, units details, battle report, camp are absolutely fantastic. I guess you mean congrats. Thank you a lot for the feedback. It's been a long process, a long time in the making, so I'm um, very happy about the fact that we can finally deliver that to you. As I said a few times already by now, we know that it's neither perfect or the ideal version. We had to, sometimes do some compromises. So there's still some stuff we can improve on and make better. But yeah, thank you for the feedback. Shelius, you're saying that a good middle ground might be to be able to see your clan's power stones and maybe have to spy on the enemy. Yeah, I mean, there are things like this that we're thinking about. Um, we have to see. The thing is, for now, we don't know how much of a difference it will make because we realize as well that for the players that are a bit advanced strategically, they kind of know what power stones their opponents are using just by seeing the armies and the composition of the army. So yeah, uh, ultimately it feels like the main difference will mostly be for newer players learning the game than for the older ones, but we'll see if it makes sense to have something like this. Also, we have to consider that there will be other. Oh yeah, I didn't mention that. Sorry, there are other bonuses in the game that right now you cannot see. So I can tell you that on the battle reports, pretty soon we'll be also including whether or not you have the power boost on, or your opponent had the power boost on. We couldn't do it right from the get-go on the technical side, but that will come quite soon. Zoyos, yeah, thank you for reposting your message. That's what I got from it as well. But yeah, but thank you for posting it back again, correcting the small typo, because I would have looked crazy if it wasn't there, and people would be like, "Well, why are you congratulating yourself?" I mean, anyway, it's not me. I didn't do any of that. That's the team. I gave feedback, a lot of feedback. I was in a lot of meetings for that, so I'd still take tiny bit of credit for this. There were some elements that were also my ideas, so I'm happy about that. Um, I can say, for example, that I've been quite helping the team with picking the commanders to start with. We wanted to start with 3 commanders that are based on units that you unlock very early in the game. Because one of the things with the new tutorial will be that when you unlock, so if you remember the tutorial, if you've created new accounts later on or whatever, you get brute as your first 2 slots unit very soon in the game. And instead of getting automatically brute, uh, what we want to do with the tutorial is that now you will have pick your commander, and depending on the commander you get, you will unlock either brute or the archer, or um, so that's the idea basically. It's which one we're going to unlock. Of course, just like you guys know, obviously you will unlock all the units very soon after that. But just for the tutorial phase, that makes a bit more that makes it a bit more effective, and gives the feeling even during the tutorial phase that players can make a choice actually, which right now they were kind of missing. It was like, yeah, upgrade this unit, put it there, do it that. So that's what we are aiming at. And so yeah, on the longer run, battle reports, they will show more information. The kill counts will be there instead of the levels. Will try to show whether or not your opponent has the power boost. And it is also possible that we'll show some other elements once we have other bonuses. So once we have a commander, as I was saying earlier, we'll try to find a way to display your commander and your opponent's commander, but we'll have to see whether or not we show their stats, for example. Hey, there's no problem for I mean, it's not even an English mistake you made. It's just typing fast on a computer or on a mobile. And, that happens absolutely over all the time. You have no idea how many messages I'm editing per day on the messages that I'm sending because there's a French E with an accent that uh, ended up somewhere, especially, and I guess that's the same for you in Portuguese. We have a lot of words. Well, in Portuguese, maybe not as much, but in French, we have a lot of words that are transparent from English, but we have a lot of words that are pretty close to English ones. So when I type them, if I have any form of autocorrect on, it will want to push the French version. And if I'm not paying extra attention, it will slip in, which is not a problem, to be honest. It's not an. I will never blame anyone for correcting a small typo that happens to absolutely everyone ever. And I'm not going to tell you, by the way, the only few words I know in Portuguese, because they are insults. So I'm not going to teach you that. I have a good friend from Brazil that was, we were playing music in kind of a holiday village, so to say. And we were writing and recording music for a few days there in the north of Germany, of all places. And every night we would play on an old, well, not an old actually, it was the mini Super NES. So one of our friends brought that with us, and my friend from Brazil was playing this every single night, and he was trying to beat the old Mega Man games, all those kind of things. And I would only hear him swear at the TV in Portuguese, so I learned those few words. But yeah, I'm not gonna tell you that. Hey Sabrina, you're saying that your dolls were dying too quickly. That's why you gave up playing. I'm not sure which unit you're referring to, but I would say in general, with Battle Legion, it can be tough sometimes to know which units you need to focus on or take out of your playing. And I would say that the community is the best place for that to help you out, because they will always find a way to tell you, hey, you know what? Don't focus on this or that unit. With the units you have right now, that's gonna that's gonna work best. Um, can I help you put together a good strategy? No, because I need to have a good strategy for myself, which is pretty complicated. But yeah, as I was saying, Sabrina, I highly recommend you to go to our community. So either, well, most likely on Discord, it's where it's the most active, and just ask there, as you did there. Most people in there are not native English speakers either, so They don't need you to type in a perfect English, just like you type there. That's perfectly fine, and they will definitely help you based on the units you already have leveled up, based on the artifacts you already leveled up. They will definitely help you. They love to help others get a good strategy and get going with the game. Hey Shelio, so you're asking if I saw your feedback regarding the global rates? Yes, yeah. Um, so two things that I wanted to mention about that I didn't answer to you yet. Um, the first thing is regarding the resources. The problem I would say with the current way it works is that the more events you wait to play, the most expensive the event is. What I mean by this is that someone that has 0 keys in when the event starts, or has 3 ethereal keys, use its 3 ethereal keys and then only get those to refill during the day and use those tries. This person will end up by the end of the week with a lot more tries that they didn't have to pay or they didn't have to wait for premiums or whatever. But if you don't use those, the problem is that they stack up, and when they stack up, indeed, the ones you are using will be the premium ones first. And the problem with that, or the not premium because there's no premium ethereal keys, but the ones you want. And the thing with this is that you need to use all of them before you can take the benefit of the the timer bringing you back some keys. So that's why I said that the more events you wait to play, the least beneficial it is for you as a player. And I must admit that this is counterintuitive. That's a given. The other thing, which to me is the biggest problem right now with the global red boss, and as you mentioned, it's the rewards. But it's not the rewards per se; it's the scaling up of rewards. The problem is that right now the event is designed so that rewards get better when you level up the boss. But leveling up the boss is way too complicated, and barely no player is actually able to level up the boss, which means barely no one is getting rewards that are really valuable. It's not getting too much resource for the players that are playing with every event because they're getting their keys filled up, they use them, they get more, they use them. Technically, they have no other ways to use them, so it's not costing them in the way that they cannot do anything else with the uh, the system. But indeed, it's a problem when you don't use them because then you only have the ones that you want to use and not the ones that are piling up when you wait. And also, as you said, yeah, the number of keys you need to level it up, to me, it's way too much still. And that's something we'll get to talk about with the team because it's a shame to me because this event is pretty close from being something players would really enjoy, but I still feel like rewards wise, it's not that motivating for a lot of players. Um, so yeah, there's definitely still some room for improvement. I don't know, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm not sure whether we'll. Sorry, guys, I think we just finished. Yes. Okay. Come on. Okay. So yeah, I'm not sure yet if we will be able to um, get to a point where we have how do you say that? I'm not sure we'll get to a point where the event will be perfect on that side before we launch something else. In other words, right now, the focus, as I was saying, after the release of the UI, is that we want Clan Wars to come. I wouldn't be surprised if the team decides to focus on Clan Wars and only after that they really rework the global raids once they have the clan wars that are there and entertaining the players, etc. Because the problem is that there's no easy way to make the current event, way better before that. There are a few things we can change. We can tweak how many units you are receiving. We can tweak um, maybe how many you can pile up before it uses only the ones you win. There are a few things like this we can change, and we can change how many you need, how many arts you need to take out before you level up the boss. But ultimately, for the scale, for the rewards themselves, since they have a multiplier for scaling, etc., it needs a bigger rework than that. Um, the way we are seeing this is that either players should, either the team should get rid altogether of the level up, but I think it's kind of a shame because that's a cool mechanism, or we need to make sure that the level up works better than it currently does. So yeah, I've seen your post. Didn't have the time to answer to it, but definitely valid questions and interesting um, conversations to have with the team. Okay, so then on my side, that's pretty much it for today. If you have further questions and mostly further feedback, the UI, the battle reports, the commanders, the all-time stats, please, please, please let us know. Share the feedback in Discord or via support tickets or on Facebook or wherever you want. But let us know because that's going to help us polish it a bit. Again, first version, the first phase for this um, new UI should be released next week. That's what we aim at for now. Um, yeah, so now I'm mostly waiting for you guys to see it. And that means the next fight night in 2 weeks' time should happen with the new UI. Okay, so with that out of the way, on my side, that's all I have for now. Um, have a great week, and we'll talk to each other in 2 weeks pretty much. Thank you again for attending. Thank you for a great stream. See you soon. Bye.